Hello, everyone. This is Chris Brown. I hope you're having a wonderful day enjoying our awesome instrument, our partner in crime, that is the trumpet, enjoying playing the trumpet and enjoying the process. And I stress the process because it is a process to learn this instrument. If you have not done so, like this video, also check out my website, Chris Brown, BRAUN, trumpet.com, for more information about me, about my group, the Innovation Jazz Group, as well as additional groups that I'm in, information and resources like links for the Arbens book, the Clark Technical Studies book, my resources that I use in many of these videos, as well as additional helps for you. So that's Chris Brown, BRAUN, trumpet.com. So without further ado, we're going to talk about today's topic, which is near and dear to my heart. And it's just such a wonderful thing to talk about for most of us. And those of you that dealt with embouchure change, you know what I'm talking about. Changing your embouchure is one of the worst things that can happen to a trumpet player, but it can be the greatest thing that you've ever had happen to you. So it could go from being the worst to the greatest. And why do we need to consider changing an embouchure? Well, there's a couple of things. If you're having problems with endurance, if you're having problems maintaining a good, clear sound, if you're having problems being able to play in tune, if you're having problems playing fuzzy and really inconsistent, not always being consistent with what you do, you may struggle with poor position or embouchure positioning. Simply speaking, as trumpet players, we need to keep our mouthpiece centered in our lips. So here are my lips. The mouthpiece needs to be centered in my lips. What does that mean? It needs to be touching the border or vermilion, the red part here. There's this border around here where you put lipstick. There's this lip border here. It needs to be over that. The rim needs to be on top of that or in this philtrum area up here. This part up here, not resting on my lip. Many young players, like me many years ago, play like this. That is a problem because you are putting stress on the vermilion, the red part of your lips, which is only 3 to 5 layers of skin. Now compare that to this part of your face. This is like 16 layers of skin. Much more endurable and strong and can handle much more pressure and stress. Your mouthpiece needs to be resting on this part up here and underneath. Not on the vermilion, the red part, but the filtrant area up here. And I think that's how you pronounce it. It really doesn't matter. But you want the mouthpiece to kind of be there in the center. If you're down here, this is probably your biggest problem. So why do we need to change it? Well, for those reasons I said. If you're struggling with endurance and all these issues, you're like, well, I already play. I'm a great player. I do a great job already. There have been great players, and one of them is Charlie Porter, and I encourage you to check out his videos if you've not done so. He was a professional when he changed because he was having endurance problems. And honestly, he's probably much better than you and many of us as trumpet players at that time. But he realized that he couldn't compensate anymore by playing down here, and he had to change his embouchure. So he stopped playing on the red and started playing on the white or this area here. So here are the steps. He talks about 4 steps. Here are things that I came up with from what I learned when I had to change my embouchure, but also kind of what he said and others have said in the past. I encourage you to check out his videos about the embouchure not playing on the red. He has 4 steps to fixing your embouchure. Also, people like Thomas Hooten is an amazing player who has a lot of helps on things and topics like this. So, how to play with a proper centered embouchure, not on the red part of your lips. Well, if you've been playing like that, it's going to take a little bit of time to fix this issue. So what you want to do is first, you're going to want to get your body to be able to feel the new position that your mouthpiece needs to be in. I encourage you, if you're in the middle of summer or you have a block of time that you can fix this issue where you're not playing or in bands or in dealing with conflicts, if you have a month or so, that would be great. But it'll take some time to fix. You're going to go down to ground zero on a lot of things. But I'm telling you, if you have a band director and you're dealing with this, you can go up to them and tell them, have your instructor tell them and say, we're fixing an embouchure. I've had students tell their band directors that. I had to tell my band director when I was doing it at the time. They will understand, especially if they're a brass player, they'll understand fixing your embouchure. This is where we make our money. If our embouchure is bad, we can't succeed. So this is why we need to fix it. So you start with the mouthpiece and you're trying to train yourself to get used to how this feels. So I put the mouthpiece up here, making sure the rim's up here. I like to do this at first. You see the lip kind of protrudes out, and I just get used to the feeling of the rim on my top lip. So I put it up there and I drag it down, and I could feel, okay, the rim is touching the top right there. So my rim needs to be above that, and the bottom as well needs to be above it. And I need to be resting on these outside places. So one of the things you can do is put your lips together at first. Kind of roll your lips in slightly. Put the mouthpiece on. You can see my lips actually have an indentation where my mouthpiece has been. Once you put the mouthpiece on, keep pressure on there. Then you're going to breathe through the side, which opens up the cavity and helps you to be able to keep the aperture of the hole open, and then you blow. But this needs to maintain together. When you breathe, you need to breathe. See that? See how my lips stay together? That's what the mouthpiece needs to do. And you don't need to put a lot of pressure on the mouth to do that, but you just need to keep it nice. Enough pressure to be able to keep it down. Now, when you first do this, you're going to struggle because you're going to want to gravitate back to the old position, but you don't want to do that. So you want to keep the mouthpiece on there. Lips closed first. Mouthpiece on there. Breathe. Kind of open your teeth like Charlie Porter talks about. And then you blow. And when you blow, you want to activate the face muscles here. Thomas Hooten talks a lot about using the face muscles. So simultaneously, you need to practice strengthening your face muscles. And one of the ways you can do this is the last step I was kind of telling about, is you kind of pull down the face muscles here, keep them tight. Nice and tight. Now you may say, well, I have big lips and my lips won't fit inside here, so I can't succeed. That doesn't matter. The great Clifford Brown had big lips too, like probably bigger than most of yours. He had really full lips, but he was able to play that way. Many of the greatest players had big lips, and many of the great players had small lips. Small lips obviously can fit in there without really stressing. That's why you want to roll your lips in. So you roll your lips in. Don't roll them in like that. You just kind of put them together gently and then slightly roll them in. Mouthpiece on. Breathe to open up the cavity. Tighten the corners, then blow out. So you're putting pressure, or you're putting energy on your face muscles here, which helps to alleviate any stress that you're putting on your lips, because ultimately you don't want to put a ton of pressure here, but you want to put it in your muscles around your face. The proper positioning for your face is going to be something like more of a scowl, like this. And you notice my nose is up. So, like I said, you start by visualizing it first, putting it on, keeping the lips together, breathing to open up, then blowing while maintaining your muscles, pulling back your muscles here, if you will, into your teeth, and blowing out. So do that with the mouthpiece. Then put the mouthpiece on. Start with a simple, like G, something simple. Do the same thing. Put the mouthpiece centered. Breathe. And at first, when you do it, you're going to notice the sound is really pinched. I'm actually trying to show you exactly how to start doing it, because your lips are kind of tight at that time, and they're going to develop to be open, and the aperture is going to develop and be as open as it needs to be. But at first, it's going to sound really pinched. That's okay. We're just trying to get the initial sound out, but the goal is you want to keep it centered on your lips. So centered, roll your lips in. Practice sustaining the notes. Practice sustaining, keeping the air going, sustaining whatever note it is. So expand out from there. Do the next note, F sharp. Expand, expand. Repeat each note multiple times, because at first when you do this, you're trying to change your embouchure position. So you're going to want to, your mouthpiece is going to want to drag down. So a couple tips I can tell you after talking with one of my students. A couple of my students are doing this, and I've done this fixing myself. Find the top of your mouth with your rim to make sure you're up there. Make sure the bottom lip is centered as well, and it's not full. You don't want it like this. You want it also inside of the mouthpiece. Roll your lips if you need to. But also balance your horn. So you'll have a tendency, if you play on your lip, that you'll drag the horn down. If you're in marching band, this happens a lot. You'll drag it down. How do you avoid that? Well, if you drag it down, some people do this, and that's how they drag it down. Some people maybe even do this. Try to keep it centered. So start with long tones. Expand out. You're going to find that you can't play many long tones at first, but you're going to want to do this each and every day. Blow air through the horn. Blow through your mouthpiece. Expanding long tones. Expand as high as you can, as low as you can. Maintaining your embouchure. Go through those steps. Lips rolled in. Mouthpiece centered. Breathe. Blow out. Hold it as long as you can. Maintain the horn position. Don't rock the horn. Long tones. Then go into lip slurs. Start on the lip slurs I have on my website, which would be the Schlossberg exercises, a simple 13, 14, 15 that are in the staff. But always expand out. Stretch your comfortable range, but always keep the embouchure set. This is imperative. You can't go back to your old embouchure. You're training yourself into this new embouchure. So you got to do these steps. At first, you're not going to be able to play as much, but the more you do it each day, and if you do it for like 15, 30 minutes, and then you break, come back later in the day, do the same thing again. Next day, come back. You'll find you'll expand. You'll be able to play higher. You'll be able to play longer. Then we'll go into things like scales. Maybe if you have some simple etudes, go into those things. Add more as you get comfortable doing it, but make sure you're always playing with the new embouchure. And you're going to rid yourself of the old embouchure and be able to play on a more efficient, more effective embouchure, which will enhance your career. It will enhance your sound immediately. For me, my sound went from blah to much, much better. I went from an average sounding trumpet player to having a really good sound just overnight doing this. So your sound will be better, your endurance will be better, your range will be better. You'll be able to do a lot more comfortable things on your trumpet, and you'll enjoy playing the trumpet more. You won't it won't be as temperamental to you. There's more consistency with this. Please, if you have not done so, try this at home. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for checking out my website. Thank you for checking out this video on how to fix a poor embouchure or how to center your embouchure.